Hi, my name's Mike Myers, and ever since I was a kid, I've been fascinated by the wonderful sounds of analog synthesizers. The first time I heard a Moog synthesizer was on a Monkees TV show back in 1968. About that same time, I became aware of Walter or Wendy Carlos's groundbreaking album, Switched on Bach. Then on into the 70s, with the invention of the Mini Moog, there was an explosion of synthesizer music in rock and jazz fusion. I was inspired by the work of Keith Emerson of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Rick Wakeman of Yes, and Larry Fast on his groundbreaking album Electronic Realizations for Rock Orchestra. In 1975, when I was a freshman in college, I wrote an English term paper on Dr. Robert Moog. I was amazed at how little information I could find on him in a huge university library. Luckily now, there's a wealth of information on Bob Moog, both in print and on the internet. I've always been fascinated by how analog synthesizers can make very lush and wonderful melodic sounds, as well as wacky outer space sounds. If you take a look at science fiction movies from the past 60 years, you will find that analog synthesizers were always the instruments used to depict various sound effects found in outer space. But this isn't their only use. Synthesizers such as Moog, ARP, Roland, etc. can also be used in a very melodic way to either emulate other instruments or create brand new sounds which have never been heard before. Also, any sound or patch can be infinitely tweaked to personal taste. There's virtually no limit to the sounds that can be created on analog synthesizers. I've always wanted to do an album that was primarily centered around the beautiful sounds and effects which can be created on analog synthesizers. At first, when I set out to do my album, The Big Picture, I wanted to do an album in the style of Larry Fast's Electronic Realizations for Rock Orchestra. But as I got into it, I decided that I also wanted to contribute my personality as a drummer percussionist. So what you have here is sort of a jazz rock fusion band synthesizer orchestra with a drummer and a lot of percussion thrown in. The experiment was very fun, and the result, I think, was very successful. My new album, The Big Picture, is available from my website, mikemyersmusic.com, as well as iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp.com, and CD Baby. It can also be streamed on Spotify, Mog, and others. I want to thank you for checking out my new album, The Big Picture. I think you're going to enjoy it.